So in our yesterday's class, we have started the topic called flow of execution of SAP UI5 application. And we also continued till the base view, that is app.view.xml, right? So let me just summarize whatever we have discussed so far. So whenever you run a SAP UI5 application by right-clicking on the project and click on the preview application, the very first file that get executed is index.html. After the index.html, it makes a call to the component.js. The component.js makes a call to the manifest.json. In a manifest.json, there is a root view configuration. The root view configuration is pointing to the application base view, so which is app.view.xml. So till here we have covered. So let me just walk through all these files. So let me open the index.html. So in the index.html, the main part is the SAP UI5 bootstrap. It loads the SAP UI5 bootstrap, nothing but the runtime of SAP UI5 by using this library resources/SAP UI code.js. And as a part of the bootstrapping, it also loads the theme. So in our case, the theme is SAP_Belize_plus. And here the resource root. So the resource root is nothing but the web app folder. So this particular web app folder will be identified by this name com.demo b72 UI5 app. And after that, on successful initialization of all these libraries, it makes a call to the next module, that is component, nothing but component.js. So the component.js gets loaded. So let me open the controller as well. Now in the component.js, so we discussed what is this SAP.UI.define section. So here also SAP.UI.define section here. So inside SAP.UI.define section, whatever the libraries that are needed, they will be declared here. After that, a function, a callback function will start referring all these the libraries with their shortcut names in the same order. And we understand this inheritance line, that is the parent library is extending its all features to this child library, okay, child class. All right. So after that, it makes a call to the manifest.json. So this is where the manifest.json, the configuration file, gets loaded. Let's go to the manifest.json now. So we discussed manifest.json is divided into three parts, three configuration sections. So first one is SAP.app and then SAP.ui. So these two, as a developer, we no need to care. But there is another third part, which is SAP.UI5, so which is the most important part. And as a developer, we will be inserting a lot of configuration here. Now let's come down to find out our root view configuration. So this is the root view configuration, and the root view configuration means what is my first view, root view, that has to be loaded. And at the line number 99, it is saying the first view to be loaded is this. And what is this here? So if you read this, this is com.demo b72 UI5 app, nothing but my web app folder. And then .view means inside the web app folder there is a view folder, and inside the view folder you can see there is app, means app.view.xml. So the very first view that gets loaded in SAP UI5 is app.view.xml, but not your actual views. Now why this particular view is called as a base view? So this also I explained yesterday. So I compared this like a basement of a building, right? So when your house, if you want to construct your house, the first thing you will be constructing is the basement. But the basement will not appear after the entire construction of the house, correct? So just as a comparison of that, so similarly here also you can see only the view one, but not your actual view, that is app.view.xml. So even though that is present, but it will not appear. Okay, right. So here now let's go to the next flow. So app.view.xml. So this is over. Now let's open this app.view.xml to understand what exactly this view contains. So this is my app.view.xml. So I'm opening the view. This is app.view.xml. So here, so this is a typical skeleton of any view. So if you open not only app.view.xml, any other view will also contain a typically similar kind of skeleton. So we'll understand this skeleton later. Okay, don't worry about this MVC:view and this MVC:view ending tag. So don't worry about it. This is, you can consider this as a starting of the view and this as a ending of the view. All right. Now in between, you have this app and a closing app tag. So what is this particular opening app tag and what is this closing app tag? This is nothing but your view container. So let me write down here. So this is your view container. So basically inside the app.view.xml, we are loading the view container. We are loading the view container. Now let us understand something about this particular view container. So in the flow, view container technical name I have written as sap.yum.app. sap.yum.app. So this is the full name, full qualified name of this view container. So in this, sap.yum is a library in which this view container is present. So only view container name is app. That's all. That is the name of the view container. What is this sap.yum? sap.yum is a library. sap.yum is a library in which this particular app is present. So if you see here at line number 4, sap.yum, which is a library, is already defined as a part of the view itself. Since the sap.yum is, which is a library already defined, what I'm doing here, so what SAP has done here, we are not declaring sap.yum again. The reason being is sap.yum is already defined at the top. So you can define only app, which is the view container. Okay. Now let us understand something about the view container, what it can do. A view container can hold any number of views, but it will show only one view at a time. I repeat, a view container can hold any number of views, but it shows only one view at a time. Now let us see the advantage of the view container. So why this view container is being loaded inside your application base view. I will compare this view container with a photo album. Okay. So let's say there are some 500 photos of a marriage. Okay. There are 500 photos of a marriage. Now, will you feel comfortable if you to watch those 500 photos keeping one behind the other like a bunch of cards, Or will you feel comfortable if you keep all those 500 photos in a photo album and hand over that photo album to you? So which one will you feel comfortable? Obviously the second one. Keeping all the photos one behind the other like a bunch of cards and hand over it to you, then you will feel very difficult to watch all those photos because some of them may get uh, uh, they get dropped, right? So obviously if you keep all those 500 photos in a photo album and hand over that photo album to you, so this scenario you will feel much comfortable because you can simply swipe your hand from right to left to navigate from one photo to the other photo, right? So this particular view container will also do the similar kind of job. The view container holds all the views, but it shows only one view at a time, whatever the view that you want to see. So the navigation between the views will also be easy if you keep all the views inside the view container. Okay, so that is why inside the base view, your view container is loaded. When this particular view container is loaded, the view container is empty, means none of the views are present inside the view container. Now let me show this with a diagram so that you will understand. So this is my outermost view, which is the base view. I'm calling this as app.view.xml. This is my base view. So base view means app.view.xml. .view.xml. All right, this is base view app.view.xml. Now inside this particular app.view.xml, so we are loading the next one, and that is our view container. So this orange color one, whatever you can see, so this is our view container. So let me name it here. This is our view container. So what is the technical name of view container? The technical name of view container is sap.yum.app. All right. Now inside this view container, your actual views like view 1, view 2, view 3, view 4. So all these views will be loaded, but who will load these views into the view container? So there is a person called router. Okay, there is a person called router, so which is a library again. So this particular router will pick the views from the view folder. It picks the views from the view folder and load them into this view container basing on the demand. So what is basing on the demand? Basing on the demand means what? If the end user is requesting the view 1, then the router will pick the view 1 from the view folder and load that particular view 1 into this view container. And again, if the end user is requesting the view 2, means web page 2, then the router will pick up the next view, that is view 2, from the view folder and load it into the view container. So whatever it has loaded into the view container, the view container will show that view, hiding all other views. I hope you understand. Okay, that is the rest of the flow. So you can see actual views like view 1, view 2 will be loaded into the view container by the router. Okay, so now when I run my application, I can see the view 1 is getting loaded. So how this particular view 1, even how this view 1 is also getting loaded. So that is what you will understand by the end of the class. Now stay tuned for the rest of the flow, guys. So is it clear so far? So inside the base view, which is application base view, we are loading the view container. So hope you are clear why this view container is being loaded. So view container, you can compare this one like a photo album. So where we store, we keep all the photos in a photo album. So what is the advantage you will get if you keep all the photos in a photo album? First advantage, all of them will be at one place. Second advantage, you can simply navigate from one photo to other photo very easily. So same advantage you will get with a view container as well. All the views will be inside view container. Second advantage, you can navigate from one view to the other view very easily. Okay. So this particular last part we are going to discuss now, that is loading of the actual views like view 1, view 2, view 3, which are your actual views. So what do you mean by actual views? The meaning of actual views here is the views that you want to showcase to the end user. The web pages that you want to showcase to the end user, I'm calling them as actual views. Okay. So these actual views will be loaded into the view container by the router. Okay. Now let us see how this particular router will load these views into the view container on demand. Okay. Right. So for this thing to understand, I will explain some basic example of how the web pages will be loaded in a web application. So let's assume there is a website called http://rizwantrainings.com. Okay, so it's not there, but just assume it is there. Okay. So when I hit this particular http://rizwantrainings.com, obviously the very first page that loaded is called home page. But for this particular rizwantrainings.com, I'm not appending anything extra. So that's all. This is rizwantrainings.com and you will get the home page. Now just assume in my website there are 5 pages. One is about us. Okay. So the about us page will come if you append /about us to this particular domain name. So rizwantrainings.com, I can call that as a domain name. Okay. And to this domain name, I'm appending /about us. So obviously, what page you will expect, guys? About us page will get loaded, isn't it? So similarly, let's say there is another web page called our trainings. Okay, like list of trainings kind of thing. Our trainings. So this will load all the trainings that I teach. Okay, so list of trainings page. So let's say there is one more, which is contact us page. So this will have so we need to append /contact or contact us, whatever, and this will load the contact us page where my mobile number, email ID or WhatsApp number, something is mentioned. Okay, so this is contact us page. Right. So from this we need to understand a very important thing, and that is how this particular web page gets loaded with this particular URLs. So here there are, if you cleanly observe the URL, there are 2 parts in this URL. The first one is called domain name. So this is called domain name. And the second one is called URL pattern. The first one is called domain name, which will be same for all the web pages. You go to any web application in the world, go to any web application, facebook.com or amazon.in apple.com. So go to any web application in the world. Whenever you are trying to navigate from one page to the other page, the domain name will not change, but after the domain name, whatever the other part is there, the rest of the part is there, that will be keep on changing. Okay. So if you want, I will show you with a live example. So for example, let me open tsrtconline.in. tsrtconline.in, it's a web application to book, just to book buses in by using this Telangana State Road Transport Corporation. Okay, if you want to go roam around this Telangana to any other place, so you will book buses here. Now just observe, I am navigating from one page to the other page, and you will find a change in the rest of the URL, not in this particular domain name. The domain name will be fixed. So I'm just clicking on About Us. Now you can see this has changed, but not tsrtconline.in. So tsrtconline.in, which is a fixed part, is called as a domain name. It's a domain name. But whatever the changing part, so this is getting changed, right? About us.do has changed. For example, I click on driver information. So again, this has changed. So this part is changed. So let me click on cancel tickets. So I click on cancel tickets, and again, this has changed. But on an overall level, this is not changing at all, right? So the fixed part is called the domain name. So this is called the domain name. And the one that is keep on changing, this is called URL pattern. It's called URL pattern. Now what you need to understand from this example is, for each URL pattern, a particular web page is getting loaded. This is what you need to understand. If you take any web application in the world, every web application contains some web pages, and each web page will be loaded on a particular pattern. Like in this example, the home page is getting loaded on a pattern called empty. Empty is also considered as a pattern in SAP UI5. Okay, so on empty pattern, home page got loaded. On a pattern called about us page getting loaded. Similarly, on a pattern called our trainings, the trainings page gets loaded. So contact us on this particular pattern, so contact us page gets loaded. Okay, so mapping the URL patterns with a particular web page is nothing but routing in SAP UI5. Getting my points, guys? So see, this particular mechanism will differ from one technology to the other technology. If you go to Angular, or if you go to any other technology, so that framework has its own way of implementing this one. So this is how we implement in SAP UI5. So that is what exactly nothing but your routing. So what routing will do, routing will map each pattern with a particular web page. So this entire mapping is done through a configuration. It is done through a configuration in manifest.json. So is it clear? Any doubts here? So each web page gets loaded by using this pattern. And remember, empty is also considered as a pattern. Okay, so now let's, so if you understand this particular domain name and the URL pattern concept, now you will easily understand this routing. Okay, right. So as of now, in our SAP UI5 application, how many web pages are there? There is only one web page, which is view1.view.xml, only single web page. Now let us understand how this single web page, even how it is loading. So don't forget the important thing. The very first page that has to be loaded should contain a pattern that is empty URL pattern. Okay, so remember empty is also a URL pattern. On empty pattern there should be one page that has to be loaded. So in our case we have only one view, and this has been declared as a empty pattern by our router. Okay, right, so let me just explain this routing configuration now. The routing configuration is divided into three parts. In the first part you will have something called routes. In the second part you have something called targets, and there is one more part along with the routes and targets. There is one more part which is called as default value configuration. Default value configuration. So these are the three parts of the router. Now let me open the routing configuration to understand how even this routing configuration is already done by the framework. You no need to write anything, guys. Okay, so I will tell you exactly when to add our code for this particular routing later, but first let us understand this default value configuration, then routes and targets. Okay, so let me open the routing configuration now. I'm opening the manifest.json. So routing is a part of manifest.json, guys, because it's a configuration. Yeah. From line number 69 to the line number 97, so this entire thing is routing configuration. So from 69 to the line number 97, this entire thing is routing configuration. The routing is divided into three parts, as I already mentioned. The first one is the default value configuration, which is simply called as config. Config means default configuration. Second one is routes, so which is this one. The third one is targets. So these are the three parts of the routing. So this is an interview question as well as certification question as well. Okay, so if you want to note down, you can note down. Now let us open each section and understand what is there, what is the configuration is there, and what is the meaning of that configuration. I am opening the first section, which is the default value configuration section. Now in the default value configuration section, the first one is router class. The router class is the library of your router, so which is sap.yum.routing.router. We already know that sap.yum is a library, right? So within this library, the router is also present, sap.yum.routing.router. Now view type XML, so all the views are of XML type only, so that is what is defined here. Async true means load this routing configuration asynchronously. Asynchronously means it won't wait for any other task to be completed. Okay, it happens asynchronously, kind of in parallel. Yeah, the next one is the view path. So view path means the path to the view folder. So where is your view folder exist? So why are we mentioning this path to the view folder? The reason is the router has to pick the view from the view folder and it has to load them into the view container. So don't forget this line. Your actual views will be loaded into the view container by the router. So if your router has to load the views into the view container, the router should know where are your views. Okay, so that is the reason we need to mention the path to the view folder. So this is the path to the view folder. So this is nothing but the web app folder. Dot means inside the web app folder. So there is a folder called view. So this is the view folder. Okay. So control aggregation pages means basically you are loading the pages, and then control ID. So what is the meaning of control ID? Control ID means the ID of the view container. So if you want to write down, you can write down this one, control ID. So what is the meaning of control ID? Control ID means ID of the view container. So let me open the app.view.xml where the view container got loaded. Now in this particular statement you can see the view container ID. So ID means ID of the view container, which is APP, right? So the same thing is mentioned here. So why this line is written here? The reason is the router has to pick the view from this view folder, and after that what it has to do? It has to load them into the view container. So to load them into the view container, it should know which is your view container. It should know which is your view container. If it does not know the destination where it will keep, correct? So that is what is the line number 76. Control ID means ID of the view container. Okay, so the ID of the view container is app. Then it will understand that, okay, I need to pick the view from this view folder and load it into this view container. Then it will go and load inside this orange color box, so which is your view container. Clear? So that's this default value configuration section. Now the next one is routes and targets. So here as a developer you need to do one thing. So you need to keep this empty. SAP will not keep this empty, so you need to keep this empty. Yeah. Now let us understand the route, and then let us understand the target both at a time. Now what is route and what is target? The routes and targets will be equal in number. That means if you have 3 routes, you will have 3 targets. And always remember this equation. The equation is number of web pages equal to number of routes and equal to the number of targets. So in our case, how many web pages are there as of now? Only one web page is there. So when you have one web page, so since my number of web pages are 1, how many number of routes I will have? 1 only. How many number of targets I will have? 1 only. So that is the reason you can see there is only one route and there is only one target. Now let us understand what this route and target as a combination it will do. In simply one line, the routes and targets, what they exactly do, they map a web page to the URL pattern. The meaning of that is it will instruct your UI5 framework saying that on this particular pattern you load this particular page. On this particular pattern you load this particular page. So this particular instruction will be passed to the UI5 framework by this routing configuration. Okay, now let us see where this is happening. Every route contains 3 properties. The first one is the name of the route. Name of the route is nothing but just like you have a name, I have a name. So similarly, every route will have a unique name, and after that a pattern, and then the target. So what this pattern and target